Hey everyone, I'm Mlive's Quinn here in Chicago at Big Ten Football Media Days. Day one just completed. A couple highlights were Ohio State meeting with the media, Michigan State meeting with the media tomorrow. This is kind of the calm before the storm. I feel like a little bit tomorrow.
Probably.
Michigan arrives, or at least publicly, and Jim Harbaugh will be making his debut. Nick, what do you? What's kind of your expectation for how Harbaugh presents himself kind of back to the world of college football? I feel like this is, it's not the intro press conference in Ann Arbor. This is a different deal.
I don't know, because I think he'll just be probably how he always is. I don't think he's going to come up here and, we keep getting asked by people once in a while, is he ever going to stir the pot? Is he ever going to stoke the fire or say something? And at this point, I'd be very surprised if we saw anything other than what we've already seen, which is, him sort of sticking to his message of, a lot of cliches, I guess. But those are his. We want to focus on every single day, and that's, I think he understands at this point that walking out and boasting or trying to say that, we expect to win a title or anything like that, that's just not realistic at this point with this team, I don't think. So, they're focused on today, and that's it. And that's just how he's played it the whole offseason. I wouldn't be surprised if that's how he plays it again tomorrow. Whether or not people are going to accept that, I don't know, because he's going to have probably everybody that's here standing around him the minute he walks up there. So he'll be the biggest draw here, maybe bigger than Urban Meyer, to be quite honest. So, it'll be interesting. He's got to talk for an hour plus about at these events. I mean, God knows what's going to happen. So I think it'll be pretty much the same guy that we've seen all year. I would be surprised if we saw anything different.
Harbaugh met with the local media back on earlier this week and kind of took, house cleaning items, essentially, discussed Dennis Northfleet, things like that. Anything that you would, hope or anticipate that could come out of tomorrow in terms of any actual information, any news? I mean, a depth chart, anything?
I don't think we're getting a depth chart. No, that's not going to happen. No, honestly, no, I don't, because it's the same situation of this is still, this is still a guy who's only been with this team really on the field for 4 or 5 weeks. I think he's still sort of in the process of figuring out who they are. So this would be these are interesting, events for first-year coaches, because what are they? You can ask him about his players, you can ask him about his team, and he really doesn't. I mean, honestly, what is he going to say? I've never seen them play in a game. I don't know. We'll find out. And so, it'll be what it is. It'll be a scene. I mean, that's maybe the biggest takeaway is it will be a. We'll have to take a photo or something and send it out, but it'll be a spectacle. They'll sit him at one of these tables right here, and there'll be 50, 60 people hoarding around him, and that'll be what it is. But that's part of the deal, I guess.
One of the things I found interesting was when you talk about the Michigan's traditional rivals. Michigan State was asked about Ohio State today. It wasn't asked about Michigan today. Ohio State was asked about Michigan State. It wasn't asked about Michigan to a certain extent.
When I was there, actually, it flipped the other way. So I heard a couple of all the Ohio State players had said, the Michigan State games have been a competitive game, but they were all still pretty steadfast in saying that Michigan is still that's their game, and in a weird way, or not a weird way, but a lot of them were pretty excited that Jim Harbaugh was the coach, because I think that they're sort of in this weird mode of like, we want this to be a great thing. We kind of need a dance partner here. We're hoping that he can make it something again. And those games have been tight and those games have been close, but at the same time, Ohio State's won so many of them, over the last decade. But I got the sense that the Michigan State thing's kind of a building thing for them, but it's still Ohio State, Michigan. That's. And you talk to Urban Meyer, and he'll tell you that all day. That's what it is for him, and that's what it is for his team. Any
other takeaways from today that, in terms of asking people about Michigan? I know you talked to some players who played against them, things like that.
The stuff I got mainly with a couple players that were on teams that played against Michigan last year was, if there was a theme, it was they had talent. There were talented football players on that team that just didn't. That made mistakes. They just couldn't get out of their own way, which is what we saw. But at the same time, it's interesting to get the perspective of guys that played against them. We had that question all the time. Are these talented football players that are just poorly coached, or are these guys that they're just not it? And from all these players, I mean, maybe they're being complimentary, I don't know, but they all said, that there was a lot of talent on that roster, and they just, whoever, was. I talked to some Maryland guys, some Ohio State guys, and they're like, at the end of the game, we just made more plays than they did. We won a game, and that's when it was time to win. We won it. They didn't know how to do that. So maybe that's a promising thing for Michigan. I don't know, but it seemed to be that talent was there, and it wasn't. I think a lot of those guys were like, it's sort of surprising that they were a 5-17. They probably shouldn't have been a 5-17, but there they were.
Well, I think that'll do it for day one here in Chicago. We'll get back to you guys tomorrow after Jim Harbaugh and company come rolling through town. It should be interesting. So for Nick Baumgardner and Brendan Quinn, thanks for watching.